Good evening to all of you.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
So the country situation is very bad, but our lectures are going on, right? Because we have always been working from home, or all of you were working from home, and only I was going to the IBSL. Now I am also working from home, right? Now today we are going to complete the first part of today's work is presentations of assignment 1. There were 6 who have given their assignment 1 proposal but have not done their presentations. So I have asked them to do the presentations. I know 3 are already here, and hopefully others will join. But this is the last chance. Then the assignment 2, submission deadline was 9th of May, and Menaka checked and told me there were 7 proposals. 7 students have sent their proposals, so they will get bonus marks because they have given on time, and others I will give another week, that is until 16th of May. That will be the final deadline to submit their proposals, right? So if they submit before 16th, I won't have any presentations on those, but I will select one of the best one and maybe share with all of you how it has been done, and we can learn from that. We can get the best and worst, and the base case as well, like we do the project financials, cash flows. Then today, if we finish early these presentations of assignments, I am going to share with you a revision, project cost and means of finance. I have a presentation I will go through with you, but I don't think we can complete it. And still that our project analysis and evaluation has not been completed. I am waiting whether IBSL will open and let me in so that I can use the board to do that. If it is not possible, we'll complete it also on this basis, from online, from home, right? So now I will ask the first presenter, Shalindri Moraliage from NDB. She is going to share with us a project proposal on cattle feed. Shalindri?
Yes, sir.
You know how to do it, no?
I have to select it present now and
Yeah, present
share
now.
the screen.
Select present now, then full screen.
Entire screen, sir.
Yeah, entire screen, sorry. So, Menaka, help. I mean, any problems, Shalindri?
I selected the entire screen option, sir.
Yeah.
Then click on that window, miss.
There is a small window coming. You can click on it.
Click and share.
I don't get that.
You didn't get that window. You are using laptop, no?
Yeah. Can you see that now, sir?
Now we can see.
Shall I start, sir?
Yeah. You on your switch on your camera. Okay. So I can switch my one off.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Shalindri. Today I am here to present the project proposal of our company, that is SMM Feed Private Limited. We are into cattle field manufacturing, and we are planning to obtain a loan to set up our new factory at Sapugaskanda. So our business involves manufacturing feed for cattle, and we use both the domestic and imported raw materials. And we are planning to continue with the production throughout the year with the available raw materials. This proposal contains the market analysis, resources required, plant location, environmental aspects, implementation of the project, cost presentation, and financial analysis. Nowadays, the demand for meat and dairy products are high, so this will be a good opportunity for cattle feed market. Our business plays an important role in improving cattle health in long run. And we also plan to offer various cattle feed to minimize the cattle related infections and to improve the quality of the productions. Initially, we are planning to capture the Latin American market and also the Asia Pacific market, as they have the major opportunities for the global cattle feed market. Then we have done a market analysis for the Sri Lankan cattle feed market. We have identified the structure of the market, and also we have, after analyzing, we have identified the demand for cattle feed is very high these days. Under the pricing and marketing strategies, we have segmented the market into two categories, that is feed ingredients and basis of regions. Under feed ingredients, it contains the ingredients we use to manufacture the cattle feed, such as corn, wheat, soya beans, etc. And we have also analyzed the market according to the basis of regions. And our main target market is to identify the farmers who are in require for cattle feed. We are also in line with the latest technology, and we try to adopt online facility to order and to market our production. We are planning to overcome the competitive advantage by economies of scale in long run. And the production and the packaging process is also given in the project proposal. And we are planning to put up only one production line with 4 types of machines. Machinery will be imported from China with other construction material. We are planning to set up the factory at Sapugaskanda, and the land will be on lease basis. Marketing will be done via e-media to capture a large market share and to reduce cost at initial stage. If I talk about the manpower, most of the workers will be unskilled labor. So proper training will be provided to them on how to use the machinery and to how to operate them. And then I have provided a snapshot of the financial analysis, cost of production per unit, and the project implementation schedule is also given in the proposal. That is the end of the proposal, and I hope bank will consider in a positive way to give the loan to us. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, thank you, Shalindri. Very short proposal, short presentation as well. I think. What are your export markets, you said?
Sir?
You said you are going to export, no?
Yes.
What are the countries you are going to export?
That is mainly Asian markets, sir. Mainly Asia, like India and Pakistan.
Okay. So you have studied the market because you say you say cattle feed market is high these days. You said in your presentation. When we are doing a project, not only these days we have to look at the future. Whether in the future there's a market. You see, that is we have to look at the future market and how. If not, we will start the project and then in a couple of years maybe that market is not there because some other product has come to the market and substituted that, right? So you have to study that, and you have in the presentation your proposal table of content. It was there better, right? You have said is meat product market growing, like this is for cattle, no? Is the market growing for meat and the milk in the world? Have you done the study?
Not in deep, sir.
Right. Okay. Beef cattle operation, dairy farms have explored various methods to ease the pressure on feeding costs. So is NDB considering financing this or?
Yeah.
So this is your proposal or you have taken a customer's proposal and?
We actually received this, sir, but I have added some points also.
Now your payback period is 2 years. Is it correct? No. Total project cost is 390 million. That is payback 2 years means in 2 years you can recover the investment. Right? Where are your financials? Cash flow. I sure it's very good project if it is 2 years payback, right? And discounted payback 2 years. You have not given the cash flows. You see, when you without the cash flows, we can't calculate that. I can't find out how you have calculated the payback period, discounted payback period. Okay, and this project is very good if the figures are correct. Return on investment is 53%, right? So break even point 7,185. What is the total capacity? Annual sales target?
That is 7,800, sir. Year one.
Okay. So break even is very high then, no? Break even is 7,185. Okay, Sharin, finally you have done your presentation. Okay, all the best.
Thank you.
That was one of the shortest presentations we had in the class. Next one is Fernie Samaratunga. She also said she is going to make a short presentation. Fernie, are you loading? Okay. Well, you can start. Bernie, can you hear me? So until Fernie is ready, we'll start with Imam. Imam, you can upload your presentation.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Good evening, everybody. I am going to do the presentation. I'm very first of all, thank you all to giving this opportunity. This is Ocean Farm, fish farming. Sometimes you may heard about this, but it is a very unique project.
Yeah. First, you present your
Start sharing.
share. Go and share.
Is it okay, sir? Now, can you
It's
see
very
that?
small, no? Yeah. Okay. Maybe I can share. You stop sharing. Okay.
Is it okay, sir?
Uh, yeah. I can't see you, and I'm going to share. What time is your fasting? Breakfasting. You have to
Oh,
break.
just only just only finished the breakfast, and that's what I hurry about the next
That's,
prayers.
I didn't realize earlier. Now I realize you have to breakfast. Have you done it? No?
Just finished.
Just finished. Okay. Right.
Yes. Okay. Now let's start. That this is fish farming. Fish farming means not like other fish farming thing, other fish farming projects. This is very unique because what this is not in the land water they are farming the fish, but they having the fish on the outside the coastal area. That means sea base fish farming project. And this one is very unique for a South Asian region, and also the eighth Sri Lanka. This project was came to our back of Ceylon. I just studied that all, and came with some points and other part of that I added to the project for easiness of to present.
Can
And
you see
then
the presentation which I'm sharing?
yeah, I also can see this.
Okay. Okay. Right. So go ahead. Go ahead.
So that is the background of the project. The customer who is the customer. Then come to the project executive summary. The 2011 only they started the project. The company they started actually the Irfan. He is the main founder of this project and the company. He went to the Europe and Germany and studied the fish farming. It's not just easy to start because of a number of hindrance and to start up the project, because this is also a sea-based project, and also the not easy to get the approval from the authorities. So the Minister of Defense and other nowadays Port Authority and a lot of approval chain there to get it done. Before that, a lot of groundwork to make to coming to just the basis point of the project. And then he's the very pioneer one to start in Sri Lanka for this project. Because why Sri Lanka? This I did not mention the what is the project, the fish farming, and this fish is the baramundi. I don't know what is the Sinhala name, but Tamil they say kodua, and in English they conventionally say Asian sea bass, the exact name. And then this fish is the specialty. Especially the fish is not in the male or female. They can't define male fish or female fish. Whenever they want, they become a male fish. They know how they reproduce. The system is there. So that's what the farmers they likely to farm this fish, because any fish they put into grow out, they can get it the reproduction and to make it a hatchery. So no need to see whether which is male or female. That's all the benefit of this choosing this fish. And then they have the other thing is that if you're land water, if you're doing the project, that's a very content, and contamination is very high, and environment pollution, environmental things. And then it is best way to establish such a project in the sea base or the outside of the land. It is better having the good environmental or the new nutrition to the fish also. So it's mean that fish is rich in omega. That means that nutrition side also, and the fish will get the good nutrition, grow. It will say the our it come out with a good end product. when we doing the this farming outside the land. Then also the this point, and then I'll go to the next and project detail in the next page. The project detail means this fish taking more than to become maturity. To become mature, it will take more than 24 months. When you complete the 24 months, the fish become 2.5 kg, 3.5 kg. In between that, much of the weight it's contained, but from 2 kilos to or the after 1 kilo 1 year onwards they can harvest this fish, and after this fish become a 1 kilo or 2 kilo, and up to 1 kilo only we have to keep in sea base, and after maturing or until becoming to mature, we can anytime we can harvest the fish, and we can sell to the as per the customer requirement. As the customer, the project promoter says that what the customers, let's say Shangri-La or the any companies, then when they want the fish in such weight, some they want to get a 3 kg fish, some they want to get 2 kg fish, then any cages they can separate. That's what project I mentioned. There are a number of cages they have. First, they implement. That means they put up the 20 cages. Then 20 cages, and batches wise they're going to grow up these fishes. Also, then they likely to the monthly or two once in a 2 months they input the fish. Then ultimately the batches then grow out from that point. Then 20 cages mean 10 cages. 10 kgs of 2 3 kilos become the last, that is the batch circulation. So understanding that every stages they are very risky. The mortality is very beginning of the fish is mortality is very high. It's the fingerling. So the fingerling means the fish baby finger, the fish with the customer brought from the Australia. It's very cost about 20 rupees, Sri Lankan rupees. So we have to bring it from Australia very first time. After that only we have to make the hatchery here in Sri Lanka, and to see the what is the way forward with the Sri Lanka. After that we don't want to import the fingerlings, and we have the own hatchery to produce the fish here Sri Lanka. So very first time we have to import the fish. It's cost about 20 rupees per fish, and so they have to import that. Then that is raw material import cost is involved. That is the working capital and raw material cost. And then if let's explain about the production process. That is production. First we have to keep for only 1 month for a nursery. Then we say small fingerlings we have to keep it for 1 month. Then after that we have gradually we have to transfer it to grow out cages. Then initially after 3 months onwards, it is become too big from that 3 months, and after up to 12 months it's becoming the mature old 3 years 2 years old fish when we become 2 kilos fish. Then when we go to the market, what is the market? They say they one market is export market. Obviously, we have the European and European market, and America, and then Australia, and also Sri Lanka in local domestic market in the tourism industry. They have 5-star hotels, and also what is that supermarket chain, Cargill's and Softlogic and the Keels. They have the pointed out the market. They have the orders on that. So after that, this is the location I mentioned here. It is a Trincomalee, the China Bay. They have only given the list out the sea China Bay for 35 years. So they to establish all the things. They have to take all the necessary approval for more than the 6 or 7 authorities, including Harbour Fisheries Ministry of State Ministry of Defense Ministry and Fisheries Ministry, and lot of their environmental, because as a project we have to go with the environmental everything this project. And then we simply move to the project cost. I mentioned here the capital expenditure. As you know, that we have to put up the cages in the sea base. That is not easy, just not like a land project. It is a sea based project. As that their expertise, then feed that means diving people and all the expertise in the working on the sea, and the people are required. And then all the things and the cages and net. I didn't put the photo on the cages how it does in the project. It is like a 20 diameter 20 diameter cages you put in that middle of the China Bay.
20
Nowadays,
diameter is what is measurement?
cage
20
20
meters.
meter, 20, yes, 20 meters, the 1 cage
Okay.
diameter,
Right.
like that 20 cages. So
Right.
that is the single cage, because they say what the flowing water, the sea water and coming and going, and then the natural environment they can consume the for fish, and it is well-being for the fish and reduce the fish mortality, and it will bring a good nutrition outfit for the fish. And then almost 88 million all things are bringing from UK, and all the capital items, and it is cost about almost 88 million. Then what the networking capital I calculated, the one finger is 20 rupees. Okay, then we were initially start with the 20,000 fingerlings per cage. So we have enough. So number of cages, we say 12 cages we're going to start initially, because once in a month we have to gradually transfer to the next cage. And actually not transfer, we are taking the fish we input the fish from after 1 month onwards. That the basic circulation it will happen. And the maturity from the 12 months to 24 months, the maturity at any time it would mature. Let's say if that all fishes not go for a 2.5 kg, some fishes harvest at 3 kg. It's like depend on, but average 2.5 kg I have taken to calculation minimal cost. And 1 kilo they mentioned 7.3 times we want feed the fish. When we we take the 2.5 kg kilo of fish, we have to feed 3 times like that. So 2.5 kg means 7.5 kg feeds we required for entire period to feed that single fish. So it is not exact figures, but it is for statistics wise we taken as to calculate the to come up with the working capital requirement. Then it is cost about 60 million, and all cost per cage 20 million. I have mentioned in the calculation. If you go through that, you can see there. And overhead means wages, salary. There are that then license, marketing, and over 1 million monthly. We have to separate that 1 million. And how fund contribution, because as a project not totally bank not to give the chance to participate in the project, but the bankers expect to customers their contribution, then only they shows their interest. So initially suppose company establish or put up the initial stages, after that only the bank come to partner with the project. But here the requirement I simply said about 365 million is the requirement, and totally bank 275 million, and the balance rest of the 97 million by the company Woodbourne. And I mentioned quarterly wise and fund requirement, how the fund flow, the as beginning customer month 88 million total capex, and with the capex 60 million will they expect from the bank. Other than from the company, we put the balance of that. And then when we see the projected cash flow, when scroll down, so you'll see projected cash flow. So 265 capital payment and sales they expect for the from the years. 100 million they expect from the first year sales. So that is the sales revenue I have mentioned. And fee cost is gradually they have taken 50,000, 55. It is on the because fee and changes of the exchange rate and the price of that, it is periodically will change, and it is considered. And fingering also the same. By the time here taken as to import, but they have looking for a hatchery. If they going to put the hatchery, it is benefit to them, and the fingering cost will be reduced if they have own hatchery. And operational cost also the same. Then finance cost they have yearly 53 million. They could pay it back, and it will take almost 3 years to pay it back the entire loan. They have given 5 years. Sorry, 5 years given to pay it back the loan. But on from 3 years onwards, they have the positive positive net cash flow. So I have calculated the ISCR, DSCR, and the equity contribution and ROE. All are within the norm. It shows. And our implementation very first initially the groundworks to be done, and taking preparing the site and necessary approval. It will take 1-2 months time. After that, from the third month only, if the LLC open now itself, another 3 months it will take to come to Sri Lanka, and it will take another 3 months. And if they start the simultaneously import and the necessary approval now, and both coming at same time and 3 times, and then it shows the last schedule things. Import after import of fish, harvest is could be done as usual way. This is my simple presentation. If there are any clarification, we can further to explain.
Yeah. Any of you have any questions? I'm seeing you only first time today, Imam.
Yes, thank
You didn't introduce you, I think, earlier. And
I'm Bank of Ceylon attached to Islamic banking.
right. In Colombo? In Colombo?
Colombo head office. Yes.
Right. Okay. So Islamic banking is doing well, no? I think.
Alhamdulillah, we have enough opportunities in this market industry, also good emerging. But country, there are some drawbacks, and that's the thing. Country wise, they have no enough room for to Islamic banking, but customers are knock the door. Islamic bank can come. Not we are not go behind the customers.
Customers are looking for Islamic
come
bank.
to yes. That is.
Okay. Now, how many farms are there in Sri Lanka, Imam?
Sri Lanka, this is very first going to be a pioneer farm. They
Sri
have
Lanka?
land. What? No. We very first in South Asia. Only they have in Asia 8 farms. In globally, you consider only 20 farms there.
Oh, right. Okay. Right. Payback period, did you calculate the payback period?
Payback period, as per cash flow, sir, they given within 3 years they come to payback period. 5 years they have given for a capital repayment.
And that is the loan repayment payback period.
Okay.
The initial investment, how long it will take for the project to recover the initial investment, right? But in your executive summary, you say estimated to be viable after 8 years. That is wrong statement. No? Now, project is viable or not, we will know when we invest, right? Yeah, second para in executive summary, you say the project cost is 360 million, 65 million, estimated to be viable after 8 years. I think that is wrong. You maybe that is the. I think maybe the payback period is 8 years. What you are saying, it's not clear to me. So normally we have to invest only in viable projects which may have negative cash flows in the first few years and positive cash flows later years. Then, is there any technology transfer here? Technology transfer?
Sorry.
Any technology transfer from some other country for this project? Because this is the first time we are
Actually,
doing.
technology means no technology transfer, not much involved in that. So
Okay.
we only technically people equipped with the establish and put up the cages only required. All the technical items, the import and just going to fix only here. So we have to brought the expertise on to fix the cages.
Okay, that is also like technology transfer. Even you bring
Yes.
people, that is like technology transfer. This is why cost is given in pounds, Great Britain GBP, because it's all bringing
From outside, yes.
from UK, right? And you are getting UK expert also to do the installation.
Definitely, yeah, definitely we have to bring them because this is Sri Lanka. There are no anyone to already to here see to for an pioneer one. So he's going to be a very first one to start here. So it is for risk for them also to looking at that point.
Okay. I think this project, more than the capital cost, the working capital is higher. That's 243 million in the first year. That is initial working capital.
Because initially that's on the fingering we have to import that. After that only they transfer into the on fingerlings. That means start the hatcheries.
Yeah, fingerling cost is not very much compared to feed cost. Feed cost is 243 million. You have taken in the first year. Is that the net working capital? Feed cost is net working capital or what is it? You calculated net working capital, no?
Total the feed is required for a total 2 years.
Yeah, but then you have put it. There's a 2 years requirement. Okay, that is in cash flow. Now you negative cash flow in first 2 years. How do you explain that? How are you financing it?
The first 2 years they have to brought the promoter should bring their own contribution, and
that means that they have to increase the equity. Now you say equity is only 97.2 million, but equity should be increased to cover this first 2 years negative cash flow 43. There's 43 million, I think, and 25.
It's a deeper study in that, sir. It is normally it's come with the 1 year credit period of the feed.
Yeah. If it is credit, then you can't put it in cash flow as cash going out. It is, if it is credit, it should be coming in the next year. You see, cash you can't put it as a cash going out. Right? If you are getting feed on credit basis, then you can. Your sales are different in projected cash flow and the debt service capacity thing. You see, sales in the projected cash flow is 100,000, 1 million, 100,000. But in the debt service capacity calculation, it is 120,000 and 132,000. Okay. And you said in your presentation, debt service cover ratio is within the norm, but it is not within the norm it is debt service cover ratio is 0.47 in year 1, 0.65 in year 2, 0.8.
Gradually, it is. That's the 8 years coming like that only.
Yeah, but then it is you can't have the bank will not give the loan when you put these figures. You see, right? So you'll have to check your figures. Is this 1 year cycles they are doing? 1 year cycles or how many cycles?
No, actually, there is two years.
2 years.
One.
Okay. So are you giving an Islamic loan for this project? Islamic financing, not loan. No, you don't give loans in Islamic banking.
Of course, we also try. We have a diminishing musharaka type of project, ownership, joint ownership project. We of course we will find in such cases in that concept.
Right. Okay.
Under the joint ownership.
Even Ceylon Bank first Islamic facility was given when I was there. It's a project loan, project facility. Vidul Lanka. They are also going for all Islamic loans now. So, okay, Imam. Thank you very much for presenting. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Fernie, have you come back?
Yes, sir. I will check.
You were missing when I called you earlier. Okay, so you can start, Fernie. Fernie is going to present a very nice project. So you are going to share, no, your presentation?
Sir, I already sent to your mail. Can
You want me to share it?
Yes, sir. But I think
I will wait. Yeah.
sir, I already sent that PowerPoint presentation to you.
I think when I was making the presentation, after we started the class only you sent it, no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, I will look at it. I saw an email coming from you. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Very colorful presentation.
Yes,
Go ahead.
Good evening. Halmilla organic farm.
You tell me when to.
Yes, Halmilla Organic Farm Private Limited was originally incorporated on 5th of February 2021 under Companies Act. The principal activity carried out the business of cultivating, farming and agriculturing. Our vision is to be the market leader in the industry. This new project is Organic Cake Free Eggs Market. That market is new and yet to mature in Sri Lanka. The free-range eggs are produced from birds that may be permitted to outdoor during the day but are housed, secured and comfortable in sheds at night. There are many reasons for the consumption is higher than those eggs in present. Some of them are balanced nutrition and less cholesterol. In understanding that opportunity, we have decided to implement initially the free-range project as the necessary capital infusion for the same is relatively low. As a startup, we plan to commence the operation with 5,000 birds and increase gradually to 15,000 birds with the expansion of 85% of harvest at the end of first year and keep maintaining the same level until we expand the operations. Well-experienced professionals with the necessary qualification have been recruited and field preparation for that project. We already purchased 15 acres unutilized land for the project, and this will be more than enough to cater 20,000 matured birds. That is the mean of finance of our project. Already we purchased 15 acres of land at Kahatagasdigiliya for 30 million worth, and we expect 25 million for the initial capital infusion of bank. The requirement is 25 million. Facilities to undertake the project will be required at the beginning of the project in order to commence the operation as planned. This is our expected revenue schedule for coming next 5 years. We hope to obtain 114 million annual revenue in 2023-2024 financial year, and we gradually increase our revenue year by year.
Only 4 years here.
Yeah, first year I have not mentioned here, sir.
Okay, okay. That is the investment.
Yeah. Based on the projected cash flow and NPV, we can identify the NPV of the proposed project is 78 million. The discounted payback period is 3 years, 1 month, and before discounting, the payback period is 2 years. We hope the bank is consider our request favorably.
Very short.
Very short, sir.
Right. Okay. Sorry. Thank you. I think I didn't see you. Have you kept your camera on?
Yes, sir. Okay.
Yes, I still have to exit from this. Something. Okay. Right. Well, I think you have not given the market in your presentation. You have to.
I already mentioned in my report, sir.
Yeah, it is in the report. Yes. Okay.
Firstly, we have catered to the supermarket chain after the gradual increment of sales.
You have in the proposal now. You have gone to the bank and asking for a loan. So if you don't tell the full story, the bank will not give you. Even you will not give a loan to someone like that. So better if I think you didn't have time to prepare the presentation, but you have done it very beautifully. But you have to include all the information when you go to the bank and explain to them, this is how I saw you are going to supermarkets. And what is can you explain your product?
This is a newly product. Already we have the farm cotton eggs in the market, but nowadays people will like to that pre-cage eggs.
Gambittar
Yes, that one.
Okay, today one of my HNB staff members called me and he said her husband's family owns a farm like this in Moratuwa. The very small birds, you see, not chicken, no?
Not chicken, sir, only eggs.
Right, okay. So it's good project. How did you find this project?
One of my senior members, she's also joined this class, Miss Dhammika Jayasinghe. She's gave this proposal.
Okay, she's not joining the class, no? She's not coming.
She's not joined, sir.
I haven't been there. Right.
I'm here, sir.
Dhammika is, yeah, Dhammika is there, right, okay. I think you have someone else. What's the name? Dhammika did a project for Mr. Asita Gunasekar as well, no? Dhammika?
Yes, sir. Cocoa Peat project.
I think Sureka is not coming, no, for lectures. Sureka Kulasekar. You don't know her? She is registered. Yeah. Okay, Dhammika is regular member. Yeah. Sorry. Very sorry, Dhammika. I think. I heard, Dhammika, that project they don't have electricity. Your project.
Yeah.
Yeah, but remember I shared with you last time to one project where they have started a fisheries project without electricity. So if there's a generator and if they are running and if with the generators it is viable, look at it positively. You're a very old customer, no? Okay. So Fernie, I think thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, Dhammika, sharing the project with Fernie and Fernie finally making the presentation. Right. Any others? Here. There were 3 more. Nuwan Ekanaik. I think Nuwan is going to. Is Nuwan there? He said he will join. No one is not there. Dilani. I think Dilani Sisirangani. Dilani Sisirangani. Are you there? I think they are going to give a miss. Finally, the Prarthana Disilla from DFCC. Prarthana, not DFCC, sorry, Sampath Bank. Prarthana, she is also not there. So we can finish off assignment 1. Assignment 1 you will not hear after today. We are done with. Only the marks I will finalize and we'll add on later with assignment 2 and the final exams. Right. So we'll take a break before I start my presentation, and we'll meet at 8:10, 10 minutes past 8. So all take a break and join at 10 minutes past 8. Okay. Okay, so we'll start this. Yeah, I'm going to do again something on this is project analysis and evaluation. This is the one we started, but we could not finish it off, right? So this one we have done up to some halfway. If IBSL and Menaka doesn't allow us to come to IBSL, we'll have to do it from home. So today I'm not going to do that. We'll see whether the IBSL will open soon. Right? And I'm going to do another one. This is on the estimation of project cost and means of finance. From the presentations, I found some are not doing it correctly. So I thought we will go through it again, how to estimate the project cost and means of finance. And even Mr. Aravind Pera did something on this area. But we'll go through this learning again and again, you will become specialist. Okay. So the project cycle, we have learned project cycle starts from conceptualization to operation, right? Someone starts a project concept, then until operation, it's a project. After operation, after completion of the project, it is the operation starting. So project cycle consists of 5 phases. The project identification, right? When you did the assignment 1, you had to identify the project, right? Process of seeking out possible investment projects which are seemingly viable. Then the project preparation, we have to prepare the project because we identify the project, then prepare the project through a study of alternative technical proposals and initial calculation of market and financial aspects. The market is very important because if there's no market, we cannot start a project. Now today presentations, we saw the fish project and we were told there is a market for that Berunda, some fish. Then the cattle feed. Then what was the other one? Third one, cattle feed and furnace one was I can't remember. Furnace one was I think right. So phases of project cycle. So the third phase is project appraisal. So always before I go further, I want to tell you next week we are having another guest presentation. The guest is a former development banker. He worked at NDB and DFCC, qualified engineer. Then he resigned and he started this hydropower project. He got some investors and started a hydropower project as a project promoter. Right? Then later he has sold his equity investment and now he is doing agriculture project in Dabul on his own. So he is, now we are always looking from the bank side, all of us, but he has both sides to a project. And he was telling me today what he was evaluating in the bank when he did his own project. He found there are more areas to be evaluated, right? So he will maybe about 1 hour presentation. He's from Kandy. His farm is in Damulla. He will present from Kandy. The project is called, his name is Akbo Bulumulla. So I thought that because he has both sides experience, that he will make a good presentation. I have told him to share his experiences mainly as a project promoter, and he will share his banking experience as well. So join on Thursday, that is 13th at 7 p.m. So we can learn from his experiences. So the project appraisal, it came to my mind when project appraisal he was saying it is more detailed project appraisal the project promoter has to do because they are risking their money. Right? Comprehensive and systematic review of the technical, market, financial, managerial and economic aspects of the project to ensure that the project will be viable and generate a fair return for the investment. These we have learned, so I'm going fast. Then the documentation. And so what we have studied or what we have evaluated will go to the documentation, right? And formal reports and agreements. If we are our documentation, now we saw we can do a very good, we can have a very good project, but if we don't present it properly, right? If we don't present it clearly and with conviction, then maybe the bank may not finance it, right? So we have to be very, very clear and we have to present it properly so that the bank will be interested in financing it. So the fifth one is project supervision. Follow-up and management of the project through its implementation and operation stages to ensure that the project is executed as planned or modified as conditions demand, so that its initial objectives are realized. So this is very important. I think with this COVID situation, I don't know how the banks are supervising their project implementation, because project implementation period, if you don't supervise the project and to see whether it is done according to what was planned, there can be problems. And the project implementation also would have been hampered. Now we are doing a project in my temple, where I said Mr. Arvind Pera is the president, I am the treasurer. And that contractor is grade 1 contractor, Nuvani Construction. But they don't have staff, they don't have laborers. They say people are not coming to Colombo, so our project is going very slowly. So definition of project cost. Now we are looking at the approximate investment required for a particular project from the time it is conceived until such time that it can sustain itself from operations. So that is the definition of project cost. From the time it is conceived until it can operate itself. Like we were, I think Mr. Arvind Pera said, first 2-3 months operations, there is a loss. We have to look at financing that as well. Land cost. Land cost, project site, storage, parking, waste disposal or treatment. Right? So not only the project site, storage, parking, waste disposal or treatment, the land is required. So acquisition costs such as cost of title checking, surveying, documentation and stamp duty, etc. come to land cost. So not only the purchase price, all these costs come to the land cost. So purchase or lease price also is the part of the land cost. It's the main part of the land cost. When we look at land, I think we discussed this. We have to, when we select the location, we have to see whether proximity to raw materials, proximity to labor, proximity to infrastructure, power and water. I was telling about the temple project is in Colombo 7. Because of that, people are not coming to Colombo. But I was speaking to a contractor today to wish him for his birthday. Then he was telling he is having some projects in Seejuva. He doesn't have any shortage of labor because people are not coming to Colombo, but people are working close to their hometowns maybe, and they are working without a break also because they cannot go home. Right? So he was saying that he has enough laborers in his Seejuva projects. Right? So labor, so some other even projects in Colombo must be affected, like the large projects like Prime Land they are doing in Ward Place may be affected due to shortage of labor. Then the proximity to labor, proximity to infrastructure, power, water. That was highlighted by Mr. Arvind Pera also. If you don't have these, then you have a problem. And that example I shared last week, they didn't, the fish project, they didn't have power. They were running on generators at a higher cost of electricity. Extent of the land and possibilities for expansion and proper identification of the land. Right? Maybe we don't need, if we need only 5 acres, we don't need 25 acres, but if even we need 5 acres for expansion, we might need maybe another 2-3 acres we need to buy at the same time as the project cost. So we have to look at threat of flooding. Some factories go underwater, then it takes long time to service the equipment and get the equipment back on in operation. So threat of flooding has to be checked. And the street lines and road reservations. Sometimes you have factory after a few months, because of the road reservations, the RDA might come and break your facilities. That happened to Colombo Swimming Club. It was actually not a project, but the Marine Drive was extended to golf face. I don't know why they one day got a court order and came and demolished the swimming pool of Colombo Swimming Club. So Colombo Swimming Club without a swimming pool for a couple of years until they constructed a new pool. So we have to be careful on this. Information about recent land transaction in the vicinity. So to get the price, we have to get the information about the land transactions in the vicinity. We buy the land, now we looked at the land cost and other costs associated with this. Now, after the land is bought, there is site development. Right? So we might have to fill the land or level the land, right? Or some people just buy the land and cut the earth and sell it. Access roads. So we have to prepare access roads. Those are also taking costly. The drainage, provide drainage, boundary walls, fencing, right? So these are site development costs. Now, if you do a cricket ground or something, the drainage is very important, because if you don't drain the water properly, after rain you can't play a cricket match. But it is not so important in a factory, but then even the factory, there should be proper drainage. So then the civil works, got the land development, then you have civil works, civil construction. So cost of buildings to house the machinery and equipment. So you need the buildings to house the machinery and equipment. That's the factory building. Then the cost of buildings for stores, staff quarters, etc. Then the water supply, telephones, air conditioning, all those infrastructure. So the civil works, these are actually not civil works, telephone and air conditioning, but part of the building. So you need to consider those civil works. Civil works, some more factors. When construction cost, before the construction cost, we have to prepare architectural drawings and the adequacy of the floor area to house the machinery inventory that we have to look at. Right? If not, we have a problem. Later, we find the machinery coming, and Mr. Aravind also explained, then sometimes machinery size you are not looking at, you have to break the factory wall and take the machinery in. Then compliance with government regulations. All construction regulations, we have to comply. And the reasonableness of the BOQ. When these things we have to check as the project relationship officers, managers, we have to check whether the BOQ is reasonable. And there are thumb rules as well, per square foot cost and those things, and whether the BOQ, I think NDB has engineers who check those documents, and so the cost of the project can be established. Reputation and ability of the contractor. So the contractor, the customer has selected, we have to look at his reputation and how they have done in the past and whether they can complete the project. Now, when we selected this contractor for temple, and we knew he was a grade 1 contractor, he was a good customer of Ceylon Bank, and he has he did a HNB building in 5 months in Kegol. So considered everything, but now the project is delayed because we exactly don't know the reason. Maybe the COVID, because of the COVID, and the project is delayed. In a way, it is good for the temple because we haven't raised enough money to complete the project. So we are looking for donations. If any of you interested, you can give it to me for the temple project. Narada Bauddha Dharmayatane. Reputation and ability of the contractor, program for construction works as a part of the overall program of the project. Right? So when you do the overall program, the construction work also as part of the program. That is major part of the program. And we have to look at possibility of cost overruns. Right? Now, in this COVID situation, when the projects are delayed, there can be cost overruns because the material prices going up, because the imports are stopped, the local material prices are going up. So yeah, we have to look at the possibility for cost overruns. Then the plant and machinery. Cost of machinery, whether it's FOB, free on board, CIF, that is after insurance and freight, and is it the landed cost? Right? If not, we think the free on board part as the cost of the machinery, then we don't take the freight and the insurance and the other cost and the installation cost. Sometimes they provide the installation with the foreign their suppliers people, whether it is included in the cost of machinery or we have to additionally spend for bringing them down. The spare parts and the licensing fees. When you get a new technology, you have a licensing fee. Other fixed costs. Delivery vehicles. Now we need not only the factory, the machinery, we need the vehicles, office equipment, office furniture and fixtures, and the maintenance equipment. So we have to look at those. When someone comes with a proposal, this is like a checklist. You can check whether these things have been included. They have taken into account. Pre-operative expenses. Before operations, there are expenses like feasibility studies, market research. Now we discussed these feasibility studies earlier. Sometimes we don't have to take it, it's a sunk cost. And the market research, we need market research to establish the market size and how to capture the market. Personnel recruitment and training. Personnel recruitment and training, the staff cost and staff recruitment cost, and the startup and trial run expenses. So when you start the factory, there's a startup cost, and the trial run we have to do those costs. And the pre-operative interest, that is interest during construction, IDC. Then working capital. We have discussed this, we have shared similar diagram, assets and liabilities in the balance sheet. They said current assets and fixed assets, and current liabilities and long-term debt and shareholders' equity. So the net working capital, we can say the difference between current assets and current liabilities. Okay. Current, yeah, here that arrow is given. Net working capital is difference between current assets or current liabilities. We can define another way. Right? This is net working capital. We can define current assets minus current liabilities, or equity plus long-term debt minus fixed assets. Now we add equity and long-term debt minus fixed assets. Again, we get the net working capital. Right? So definition 1 is amount of funds required on permanent basis to cover the needs of related current activities. Amount of funds required on a permanent basis to cover the needs of related current activities. Definition 2 is amount of long-term funds available on a permanent basis to cover the needs of related current activities. Right? So that is long-term funds. Just we said in the project cost, we have to get the net working capital. So there is the amount of long-term funds available on a permanent basis to cover the needs related to current activities. net operating working capital. So there are, we said earlier, permanent working capital. This is net operating working capital. How do you arrive at net operating working capital? We have current assets, that is receivables, inventory, other operating short-term assets. Okay. The current liabilities, payables, other operating short-term liabilities. Right. So the difference between these two is the net operating working capital. You can see the cash is not here. Right? So the cash and short-term loans taken out from the current assets, that current assets minus current liabilities without the short-term loans is the net operating working capital. So net working capital is equal to net operating working capital plus cash position. Right? So net working capital is net operating working capital plus cash position is difference between these two. Cash minus short-term loans. So working capital estimation, raw materials, work in progress, finished goods, debtors, less creditors. So we get the working capital estimation. So project cost estimate, we look at land, site development, civil works, plant and machinery, other fixed assets, pre-operational expenses, working capital and contingencies. Now the two project, the board papers I shared last time, approval papers, both had contingencies. I think in one, very little contingencies, about 5% or something. Capital structure of a firm. So we have the project cost, now we have to finance it. So that is equity and debt. So why debt? I think we discussed this, how the debt act as a, what is it called, as a lever, debt leverage, right? So debt act as a lever. This is an example how debt acts as a lever. Now we take project cost 100, equity, project cost 1000, equity 1000, right? Then operating profit is 300, interest, there is no interest because there is no loan, and the profit before tax is 300. We take tax is 30%, so tax is 90. 300, 30% of 300 is 90. So the net income is 210. The return on equity, when it is fully funded by equity, is 21%. Right? Now we look at debt equity ratio 50-50. Equity 500 and debt 500. So operating profit 300, interest on 500 is 75. 15% on 500 is 75. So profit before tax is 225. Now the profit has come down. The tax is 30%, 67.5. So the net income is 157.50. So the return on equity, when the debt equity is 50-50 is 31.5%. So earlier it was 21%. Though the profit is high, the return on equity is low. So now it is 31.5%. We have another scenario, 1000 is the project cost, equity 200, debt 800. Right? So profit 300, interest is 15% on debt 120, 800, profit before tax 180. Because of the tax also, the debt leverage helps. Tax is 54, net income is 126. So the return on equity is 63%. So when fully equity, it was 21%. When 50%, it was 31.5%. When it is 80% loan, it is 63%. Now, three scenarios provided here. So 21%, 31.5 and 63%. Right? Same calculation. So return on equity is return on asset plus debt equity ratio into return on asset minus I interest rate. Okay. That's how we can calculate again. If you do a graph, right? Debt to equity is 0, it is like this, right? That is debt 0, return on equity is equal to return on assets, right? So it is the graph like this. Return on equity is return on asset plus when debt to equity is 0 is return on equity is also return on assets. But when the debt to equity is there is a loss initially, but there is when you pass some point, you have a higher return on equity. So when the debt equity ratio goes up, that this is debt equity ratio 0, this is 50%, this is 80%. Okay. So this is the return on assets is equal to interest rate. It's over. The presentation is over. So no. There are some more factors. So what are the advantages of debt? Advantages of debt is tax deductibility of interest. Because of the debt, tax comes down, right? And imposes discipline. So when there is debt, you have to pay monthly on time. So the management has to be disciplined. Increase return on equity. We saw that those examples when there's debt, return on equity increases. Disadvantages of debt is possibility of financial distress. We have discussed this. When you have more debt, you can when the revenue comes down, you can have financial distress. In bankruptcy situations, debt holders take possession of the firm. Now, like some companies, you can see which goes bankrupt, the equity holders may not get anything, like the finance. So equity holders who have taken shares in the market, stock market, will not get anything, but the debt holders will get something first. So the factors affecting the choice of debt and equity. In a perfect market, debt equity ratio increases, value of the firm will not change. Right? In a perfect market, debt equity ratio 10 or 50 or 80, value of the firm will be same. But the market is not perfect. So in the real world, value of the firm initially low, because we know that there is initially there are losses. So initially low. So this is under leveraged. Then period it's high, then after 70-30 debt equity ratio, it is going down. So up to 30-70 debt equity ratio, it is low, then high, then comes down. So what are the factors affecting the debt equity? Business risk versus financial risk. Right? What is business risk? The markets, the technology. That is the business risk. The marketing, having the market or the technologies businesses. Financial risk is debt equity, the leverage, the debt equity ratio or the leverage. So when the business risk is low, we can take a higher financial risk, because we know the business risk is low means what we have projected we can achieve with some certainty. Then we can take a higher financial risk, that is, we can take a higher debt equity ratio. When the business risk is high, that is, we don't know whether we can achieve what we have projected, and there can be fluctuations. When the business is high, we have to take lower financial risk. So when the business risk is high, we take lower financial risk. That is why, now for example, that's why the infrastructure project, hydropower, thermal power or wind power projects, we go high on the debt, because if we know the project is completed, there is very little risk, right? So the business risk is low, so we can go up to higher debt equity ratio, 75-25 or 80-20. But when the business risk is high, we have to reduce the debt equity ratio. So when you analyze projects also, you have to think whether the business risk is high for that project or low for that project. So if it is low, you can go for higher low. So factors affecting the choice of debt equity, like we can look at the product life cycle. Okay? So the volume and the time. In the product life cycle, in the introduction, there is little sales. Okay? But with the growth, you grow. In the maturity, you have high, then decline. So the business risk is high at the introduction. Then at the growth stage, business risk is medium. And then on maturity, business risk is low. That's why I have been telling you, new technology products, the banks cannot finance because the high business risk, right? The bank should look at the mature products, so that there's low business risk. And in the decline stage also, there is a high business risk. So when high business risk, low debt equity ratio. We say when business risk is high, the debt equity ratio is low. The medium, the low business risk, high debt equity ratio. So that is high business risk, low debt equity ratio, low business risk, high debt equity ratio. Okay. Factors affecting the choice, again, nature of the promoters. So debt equity, if the promoter is risk averse, right? If the promoter is risk averse, then he will not take big loans. He will take, debt equity ratio will be lower. If promoter is risk taking, then he will go for a higher loan, ask for a higher loan. Forms of capital, equity. Now, how do you bring equity? One way is ordinary shares. So ordinary shares are brought by owners of the project. So if a shareholder wants his money back, either find a buyer or liquidate the company. This problem is there for venture capital. They come in as ordinary shareholders, but not like loans. They can't go out. They have to find a shareholder, another shareholder to buy, or find another buyer. Find a buyer or liquidate the company, and take their money. The ordinary shareholders' capital is risk-taking capital. If the company does badly, first to lose the capital. But they have shareholders' right of voting at the AGMs. The preference shares, fixed rate of dividend, rank above ordinary shares in the event of a liquidation. Not popular with companies as the dividends are not tax deductible. Right. Preference shares, you don't see too much of preference shares issued because those are not tax deductible and not attractive to banks as there is no security. Banks actually cannot invest in preference shares. Attractive to tax-free companies. Redeemable preference shares. So it carry a pre-arranged redemption. That is, the company can buy back the shares. So redeemable preference shares. And the participative preference shares allow the holders to particular in a further share of profits, normally part of ordinary shares. There is convertible preference shares. That is, you can convert at a given time after a few years to ordinary shares. Nice there. Convertible preference have the right to be converted into ordinary shares. Then the cumulative redeemable preference shares. So the dividends accumulate until the company is in a position to pay. So that's what cumulative preference shares. So what is fixed versus floating rate debt? Now most of you are bankers. Firms which have relatively fixed revenues should have fixed rate debt. Right? If you have fixed revenue, then you should not go for floating rate debt. Firms whose revenues are linked to interest rates, inflation should have floating rate debt. Okay. Like there can be some company, its income is linked to interest rate or the inflation. So then they can go for floating rate debt. So initial floating rate is lower than the fixed rate. We know why people are not taking fixed rate. Now in the present, the banks are having fixed rate and the floating rate because the fixed rate is high now. But they are not thinking after a couple of years, if they have the floating rate can be higher than the fixed rate. If the interest rates are high, go for floating rates. If the interest rates are low, go for fixed rates. So at present environment, the customers should go for fixed rates because the interest rates are low. If the interest rates are high, go for floating rates because the rates come down, you can get the benefit. Then the loans versus debentures. Right? When in loans we call interest rate, debentures we call it coupon rate. And loans you repay, debentures redemption. Loans are disbursed, debentures are subscribed. What is the recent debenture which we had to subscribe? Recent debenture was Ceylon Electricity Board. I also bought some debentures because I also subscribed to some CEB debentures because CEB cannot go bankrupt because CEB is needed to run the country, though they are making losses because the government is not allowing them to increase the tariff. And then the CEB has to subsidize lot of customers, but normally when the bank gives a subsidized loan, the bank gets the subsidy from the central bank. CEB subsidized customers, CEB doesn't get any payment from anyone. and they have to take the loss. Then the loans, book debt, and debentures are tradable instruments. Loans are secured, debentures can be also secured and or guaranteed debentures. Loans are offered by banks, debentures issued by firms. Now CEB, without going to banks, actually when I was in Ceylon Bank, we initiated with National Savings Bank to give loans to CEB. But there was a small hitch because People's Bank had, some time back, had got full authority over CEB loans. So we had to get People's Bank to release that the CEB has to can get loans from others. Now I think NSB and Ceylon Bank gave the loan after I left. We initiated before when I was there. So offered by banks and issued by firms. So debentures are issued by firms to reduce their cost of borrowings. When you borrow from the banks, you have to borrow at higher rate. When you go directly to the depositors, you can get at a lower rate. Right. I think we were not in the presentation mode. So factors affecting the choice of debt. I think we did this. No? We are done, and it's perfect timing. We are. Any questions? Any of you have any questions? So next week, as I said earlier, we are having a guest lecture from someone who was working in development banks as a relationship manager and then started his own project, hydropower project. That was Pan Asian Power, started by them. The loan was given by, when I was in HNB and NTB. Because NTB general manager was Mr. Pedis, NTB CEO after retiring from DFCC. So Mr. Pedis spoke to me and said, shall we consider this loan together because NTB didn't have experience. Right? So we gave that hydropower loan to this company floated by Akbar Bulumulla. He was a small shareholder, he got foreign shareholding. He will explain on Thursday. Any questions? So all of you, other than the 7 who have submitted, kindly submit your assignment. If there are some missing areas, you assume and do it. Then when you're assuming and doing it also, you can get marks because you are using your imagination and the brains. Right? And already 7 have submitted, so I can't change anything now. And we'll have to go ahead with what was shared with you. And but I want to check only that number of pages in 59 and 39, whether that is correct. Who had this problem? Hassanji, no? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I will check that, Hassanji, right? Right then. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you, sir.
Good night, sir. Good night, sir.
Good night.